Hey, good morning. It's Mark here with another morning rant. Let's go get right into the news, all right? And for those that are watching this on TikTok, go to Facebook and watch the whole video at One Morning Rants. All right, let's get into it.
I cannot and will not support Judge Jackson for a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. First, Judge Jackson refuses to reject the fringe position that Democrats should try to pack the Supreme Court. I assumed this would be an easy softball for Judge Jackson, but it wasn't.
You know, the silliness of it all, a Supreme Court justice has no bearing on if Congress decides to expand the court. As a matter of fact, it's constitutionally allowable, and the Supreme Court has no bearing on it whatsoever. So because of something that she would never have to even interpret, something she would never have to do, a decision she would never have to make, Mitch McConnell says, I just can't do it. But he voted to approve this guy.
I'm not going to go into who this guy is. I'm pretty sure you guys know. Also, I'm not going to assume that any Republican was going to approve KBJ to the Supreme Court, Kentanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. But to use that logic is just dumb. Now, that was Dr. Rashard Richey. He does a great show on TYT. You can look him up on YouTube, the Young Turks. So let's get into this real quick. The Constitution does not state whether or not the president, the Congress, or anybody has the power to expand the seats of the Supreme Court. It does not say so-and-so has the power or so-and-so does not have the power. So Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution states, and I have it here, the judicial powers of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain or establish. The judges, both the Supreme Court, Supreme and inferior courts, should hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. It doesn't say whether or not a justice, a president, or anybody gets to approve or add seats. And as a matter of fact, the Congress has went from 6 seats to 7 seats to 8 seats to 10 seats, up to, I think, 11 seats at one time. So as far as contracting and expanding, the Supreme Court has always contracted and expanded, and it stopped in 1867, 69. So does the president have the power to expand the court? Maybe he does. There's another part of the Constitution that gives him that right, and that is implied powers. And where that comes from is Alexander Hamilton was trying to get the Bank of the United States established, and Congress and everybody was against it. Well, Alexander Hamilton argued that the Constitution has given the president and those in power implied powers, because you cannot assume every power that someone should have. How can these people in 1789, how could they know about every possible thing that was going to happen over time? So Alexander Hamilton was arguing that there was implied powers. Hamilton, I got it here. This is from Wikipedia as far as the definition of implied powers, but I'm not using Wikipedia as a source. I'm just trying to explain it to you. Hamilton noted that the general welfare clause and the necessary and proper clause gave elasticity to the Constitution. Hamilton won the argument, and Washington signed the bill into law. So that was a thing called implied powers. Implied powers are powers authorized by the Constitution that, while not stated, seem implied by powers that are expressly stated. So if something is expressly stated in the Constitution, but something that is not expressly stated in the Constitution, if there's another clause that expressly states the president can do something, he can take that stated clause and use it for something that was not stated. And then signing the bank bill, they used implied powers. Now, some legal scholars can argue that there are implied powers when trying to increase the Supreme Court. Some may argue against it. But a Supreme Court justice has no bearing on what happens when it comes to adding or subtracting to the court. They don't. That power rests either in the Congress or the presidency, the executive or the legislative. It does not lie in their own power. So he's taking some obscure thing, something just like Dr. Rashad Ritchie said, something she would never have to vote on, something that she would never have to deal with, something that she would just have to, if she's a Supreme Court justice, she would just have to welcome those people to the court and get them situated. She has no bearing on what happens or does not happen when it comes to the number of justices. And so he's taking that to say, well, she won't answer that question. So because of that, I won't nominate her. I won't vote for her for Supreme Court. You had to find something. You had to find something. I have told my children, and I'm pretty sure there have been other parents, other black parents that have told their children, you have got to walk on water just to be considered average in America when it comes to being something. Black people have to walk on water just to be considered average. Chris Rock had a joke, and I saw the video about the Oscars, and I think it's a tragedy. We can go, that's a whole nother story. But Chris Rock had this joke, and he said that he is one of the greatest comedians of all time. And he lives in this exclusive community, right? His neighbors are Tiger Woods, who revolutionized golf, or brought, well, if he didn't revolutionize golf, he brought popularity to golf, right? You have Michael Jordan in the neighborhood, who has a home in the neighborhood, who changed the game of basketball, right? You have Mary J. Blige in his neighborhood, who's considered the queen of hip hop soul. You have Denzel Washington in his neighborhood, who's considered one of the greatest actors of all time, right? You have all these people who are considered great in their field. Who is his next door neighbor? His next door neighbor is a dentist, a white man that's a dentist. So you mean to tell me that black people have conquered all kind of avenues in their genre just to be in this exclusive neighborhood, and the man next door to him is a dentist? Black people have to walk on water to be considered average. Kentanji Brown Jackson has moonwalked on water. And they're treating her, she is the most qualified of all of the justices on the Supreme Court. Right now, she is the most qualified. She is more qualified than them to sit on the Supreme Court. But that's not good enough. That's not good enough. She's going down all the other trails that all the Supreme Court justices have gone down. She's clerked for a Supreme Court justice. She's graduate of Harvard Law School. She's done everything. She's even been a public defender, a public prosecutor, a public defender, something none of the other justices has ever been. Amy Coney Barrett her resume pales in comparison to Kentanji Brown Jackson's resume. But she sits on the court in a vote that happened less than 12, 15 days. This woman is extremely qualified for the bench. But he's taking something so trivial to say she doesn't warrant it. Make it make sense. I'm going to leave it at that. Hey, you got to watch it. I think it's almost over. I think they're going to be voting soon. They're going to vote her out of committee and send her to the House floor or the Senate floor for a final vote. Democrat in name only. I can't remember the damn guy's name from West Virginia. He is expected to vote for her, so she may have 50 votes I don't think any Republican is going to vote for her. So it's 50-50 in the Senate. So Kamala Harris is going to be the tie-breaking vote for that. And it is what it is. She's going to make it to the Supreme Court. First black woman to be on the Supreme Court. We got a black man on the Supreme Court in Clarence Thomas. We have a Hispanic woman, on the Supreme Court. We should have an Asian man on the Supreme Court. We should have an Asian woman on the Supreme Court. That Supreme Court should reflect America. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a great day. It's Monday. I got some issues I got to deal with at work. Real quick, I got my government credit card here, and it has my old last name on it. I don't want to call it old, but it has my former last name on it, and I got to get that fixed. So it is what it is. But anyway, let me get up out of here, people. You guys have a great day. Have a great week, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Y'all take care.